Alright guys, so today we're going to look at a Lepic build, and this is a little bit different than what people normally do with them. Today we're actually going to look at the utility that he brings to any team instead of the amount of DPS he can do. So having said that, let's hop into the build. Alright, so without actually going too much into the modules on this build right now, I do want to start out with the equipment that we're going to be using. So for this build, ideally, you're going to want to run a shotgun, but that's going to depend on your team composition. If you do not have an Enzo, then you obviously cannot live on just a shotgun alone. Outside of that, I would run basically any beam rifle or any weapon that does damage that benefits you and the damage type against whatever faction you're going to fight. The idea here is that we're going to use this mainly for Void Erosion Purge, so you will want to bring in anything that gives you a faction advantage, as it's going to be a big deal. Alright guys, so for the reactor, we're basically going to be looking for skill cooldown, skill cost reduction, and it doesn't really matter what type of reactor you have on. The point of this build is less to do damage and more to allow your team to do damage by grouping everything up and working that way with it. So because of that, don't worry about the reactor matching, just mainly worry about the stats that you have on it. And the main reason is this can actually be a very MP demanding build, and if your fights drag out too long, you can run the risk of not being able to juggle the enemies, which could result in a team wipe, which is not something you want in Void Erosion Purge. So outside of this, you are going to want to run the Annihilator set and the Hunter set. The reason here is for the cooldown reduction and for the skill duration. Again, we need to have those as high and low respectively as humanly possible. When it comes to the substats on these, especially with the sensor, you're really going to want to try to have max MP and MP recovery. As you can see, I'm actually only running a blue one, and that's because these really are kind of a pain to farm for. But you do want to try to have that on your sensor. Outside of that, you want to try to do whatever you can for survivability and MP recovery. Now, when we get to modules, you can see that you could do this on a budget. You could actually probably not cat your focus on singular and focus on fire and still be able to make this build work. The whole goal here is to lower your cooldowns and increase your duration while making your bubble, your sphere, reach as far as humanly possible. That's how I like to play it, and I like to be able to pull the entire room. Outside of that, you want to do whatever you can to lower the cost of these skills, and this is going to help you just keep 100% uptime. That way you're not starved on MP. Now with this build, if you have a really solid team and you can do a good job of juggling, you can actually run shot focus, which is going to give you more damage, but it's going to lower your HP considerably. If you find that your team is just not killing things fast enough and you're taking damage, consider running some HP mod. I'm using stem accelerant. You can really swap this out for whatever you want. If you have a good team and you're really putting in the damage, you're gonna want to use shot focus. But again, you can swap these mods as they work out for you. So for your inversion reinforcements, you're really gonna want to go with RK boost and selective neurostimulation, plus whatever rounds benefit you with the enemies that you're trying to fight. Again, this isn't a huge thing, but these will help make your job a little bit easier and help you stay alive and increase your MP. So as you can see here, the whole goal of this build is just to juggle things and keep them in the air. You can do this basically until you run out of MP, and there are a few things that we can do with the inversions to help that out. Ultimately though, if you're playing with a decent team, you're going to kill things and hopefully you'll get MP drops, or else you will have a bad time when things go crazy. So for your part, what you basically want to do is just throw down the ball and get them in the air. And then after that, pop your 2, because your 2 will give you some bonus damage when you start unloading with your gun. In the gameplay footage here, I actually have a shotgun out, but you can see we run out of ammo, and that's kind of a problem if you don't have somebody to feed you ammo. At the end of the day, you're just going to unload with whatever gun you have, and you're going to go between juggling, increasing your damage, and doing damage. Between you and your team, you should clear mobs pretty quickly and be able to move on to the next pack. So right now the real question is, what does this actually look like when you're playing? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to boot up a pub match, and I'm just going to let you see exactly what this looks like when you're playing pubs and how this build actually works with random teammates.
좋았어. 자, 도망가 보시죠. 가까이. 이거나 받아라. 대장전.
안전이 필요하다.
진짜. 가까이 오지 않을까? 쉴드가 파괴됐어. 내 쉴드.
제대로 달려볼까?
더럽게 아프네.
Alright guys, and that's it. That's basically everything you need to know about this build. Now hopefully Void Erosion Purge doesn't get nerfed, because if it gets nerfed too hard, nobody's really going to need this character in this build. But with there actually being harder content in the game, it's nice to be able to look at team comps and find a way to bring support in and really allow your team to do everything it needs to do. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the build. Let me know if you change it up a little bit from what I do. And as always guys, if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing, as well as coming over to the Twitch channel and hanging out with us while we're messing with this stuff live. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.